Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back in today's video, and today we're doing a card review video. So yeah, the stream is kind of screwed up, and so that is why that what you watch is not the stream now. It's just gonna be the cards and the skills. Also, usually I didn't read the skill, but for now I'm just going to read the skill. Some of them I will read. The boss monster I won't read it. So yeah, cause like the more relevant content creator will create a video and they will explain everything, and I don't want to make these videos like repetitive as it is, because like yeah, it's gonna be sickening for you to just go over the content creator just to explain the skill over and over and over again. So I'm not going to kind of like stall off the skills. I'm just going to morally kind of like I will express my opinion. So if you haven't also watched the Magnus, I think the name, yeah, Magnus archetype, you can just there are on the description down below, because when this video uploaded, the other also already uploaded. So yeah, for the first card that we got revealed, it's a grade 0-3 connect sorcerers. This is just a starter, nothing special. Next is for the grade 1 tier square sorcerers, and like what this girl actually do is when this unit is rolled upon by Pentagleam sorcerer, counterblast 1, draw a card, and auto on rear guard. Once per turn, when your drive check reveals a trigger unit, counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent front row rear guard, put it on the bottom or their deck. So basically this is another way for you basically just kind of like manipulate your kind of like top deck, and also with this card basically kind of like retire one of your opponent rear guard as a snipe thing. Basically just snipe one of your opponent rear guard. But like why I said this is just something have something to do with the top card, it's basically because like when your drive check reveals a trigger. So yeah, it's OTT style, and or Genesis, you also can say that. Now next is the Pentagleam sorcerer. Her skill is when this unit rolled upon by hacksaw sorcerer, look at the 3 cards on the top of your deck, put them on the top of your deck in any order. There you go, it's OTT. And when her second skill is auto, when this unit plays on rear guard, look at the top card on your deck, put it on the top or bottom of your deck. If you put it on the bottom of your deck, this unit gains +2k until end of turn. This is straight up just deck manipulation, top deck manipulation, and it's a really interesting way to play. Really good, really nice, and pretty generic, pretty original style also. Nothing too crazy, but like I believe this is what they need to create first, because it's the BTO one. So yeah, and the card is straight up just that. It's OTT card. What more that I can explain? My opinion is basically that. It's just a good OTT card. The next is the hacksaw sorcerer. Her skill is, you read it yourself. Now, jump right into my opinion on what this card can do. This is basically a OTT Susano deck, but quite interesting because it has some kind of flavor with Genesis also. This is have something to do with Genesis, being Genesis manipulate a top deck, but mostly triggers. Instead of OTT is straight up just top deck. It's just top deck manipulation. Instead of like Genesis, you have Himiko, where she just manipulate the trigger in it by itself. So this is just combination of both. Really cool, and just like the counter blast 1, soul blast 1, reveal the trigger, critical front, put it on the top of your deck. This unit gains +1 drive. Insanely good card, and if this you also persona write it, so this balance it out. If you persona write, you can activate the skill, but in general it's just when you drive check, reveal a trigger, and choose one of your rear guard, gain 10k. Yeah, it's kind of like that, because you may say, wow, that's really weak because you only give 10k, but like when you see the skill, when you drive check reveals a trigger. So yeah, mostly of the support of this deck is gonna be a trigger. So yeah, you may have, basically this deck is all about trigger. And yeah, most likely you have the support card that will support you to manipulate the top deck, so you can reveal trigger no matter what. Kind of like Bastion, where you have a really high chance to get a grade 3 that at the point where the lock doesn't even matter. So yeah, really interesting. And this Sorceress Archtype, I really like it, because like now you may think this is really generic. You may think this is just like, oh, this is just back to OTT, really boring, this kind of like Amaterasu and stuff like that. If you think about it, this skill, this kind of setup, this kind of archetypes, like this Sorceress Archtype, this is basically Susano archetype in V series, in VBT 8. Yeah, think about it. This is DBTO1, and they already create a VBTO8 card with more flavor, of course, kind of like OTT. They make the flavor more original. This kind of like go towards the original, but still unique, being that the manipulation is now kind of like even more future potential, and it's not just that you know this get a trigger or you're not going to get a trigger, but like with the hacksaw of Sorcerer, the grade 3 basically boss card, basically you can make a Genesis style where you also manipulate the trigger, kind of like Ultima did. So really interesting, really cool, even though it's not really that manipulation that like give everything a crit or something like that like Himiko, but in my kind of like images that like where the critical and front style, it's remind me a lot of Himiko because of that, basically, because like originally OTT just relies on you getting trigger, and even like in Susanoo, basically you're not a trigger card become a trigger, stuff like that, kind of like if this unit got revealed and want to give one of your unit plus 10k in a crit or something like that. So it's really interesting, and instead of this card is basically guarantee you to crit and front, kind of like Himiko. Because like on Himiko part, if you basically just, I think on Himiko you have something to do with also, okay, so I don't want to be wrong this, and let's check out Himiko's skill, shall we? Because like I can give out my opinion more nicely, I guess, because like it technically should be kind of like Himiko. So let's check out, because I didn't actually check it out at first. I should check it out at first, but like I didn't do enough research to make on making this video, because this video based on my opinion mostly. So yeah, Soul Blast 5 card, put a crit or draw trigger from your soul on the bottom of your deck, and that trigger activate once for each crit of your opponent Vanguard. So as you can see that in Himiko style, or what I mean by the manipulation by crit is that you guarantee it to happen, instead of like original OTT where you just manipulate your top deck to have you having really high chance to get a crit, and also on the top of that also you just predict what card that you're going to check. But instead of like Himiko style in Genesis is that you basically guarantee that card without the manipulation on the top deck. That's what I want to say, is that like without the manipulation, that what OTT does on this kind of skill is that using this grade 3 sorcerers, what you can do is just Cancel Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, you reveal crit and front from your hand, put it on the top of your deck, basically kind of like Himiko, where this is basically your own card, you put it there to activate the skill. Instead of Himiko, put it on the bottom of the deck, then the trigger activates. So yeah, it's literally just the manipulation of the trigger in it by itself without manipulate the top deck technically, because like yeah, you put it on the top, well, it's not manipulation, you would not moving any of the top in there because you put from your hand to the top of the deck. So kind of like that, really interesting. So yeah, that's what I mean, so you don't put it wrongly, kind of like, oh well, that's technically manipulate the top deck, but not really, because you put the card from your hand to the top, you're obviously going to know without just checking that the top deck, because like that top card is you put it there from your hand, not from your checking. So yeah, it's really interesting. So it's a really cool combination. It's still towards original, but as I can say before, the flavor on the style of play, this is basically just Susanoo in my eyes, is really clearly, and I think the support for this card will be kind of like Susanoo style of VBTO8. So that's my own opinion. Just like I said before, this is opinion based, and if you like this card, then yeah, good, because I do like this card also, and I will love to get this card also, because like I will love to get this card, and it's really interesting, and yeah, I do like it. She looks great, and the skills also looks really awesome, and we now have like this future card, like the future deck stuff, like yeah, kind of like that. And now the big question is that, is this card is future potential? Yeah, it is. Why? Because like this is just manipulate the trigger, manipulate the top deck. The stronger the rear guard is, the stronger you are, basically. Yeah, just like I said before, this card basically kind of like Susanoo combined with Himiko, kind of like that. And you already have a powerful boss monster. Now to follow up that boss monster is just a strong rear guard. So yeah, another future potential card, just like Morikata promised to us, and I think he delivered it quite nicely. Good job to Vanguard to create this kind of style of card, where this is a really good design for the future of the card game. And now I am more confident that we are going to see much more interesting card in the future. So yeah, I think that's about it. My opinion stand that I do like this card. I do like the play, and it's nice to see like this kind of play. They push it immediately to the best to like create this such an amazing card for DBT01. So yeah, for the beginning one, is insane already. So I think that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time in the next video. Have a good day, and I'll see you all then. Bye for now.